You grow up being told that this is what happens in third world countries, right? This is what happens in the Soviet Union, and that you as a Westerner are free. And it's just not true, and it's really, really sad. It's really scary. Hey, what is up, guys? This is Brett here from BrettLive.com, and welcome back to the channel. I got a friend who recently went back to Canada. He was gone for about 6 months, and he just got back a month ago. So I'm at a coffee shop. He comes back, he gives me a text. He says, hey, dude, I'm back in town. What you doing? I said, I'm just at a coffee shop chilling. Come and hang out if you want. And he sits down, and I'm saying to him, like, how you getting on? What are your plans for the next year? You know, he's looking to do some remote stuff online and things like that. And he comes out with, he says, well, you know, there might not be a world to do anything online or something of that to that nature. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, you know, the way things are going in the Middle East, he says, looks like there could be World War III. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? There's going to be World War III. He's like, well, dude, have you seen the news? Have you seen what's going on in, you know, in the Middle East and all this stuff? It's looking really bad, man. It's looking really scary. And I look at him and I say, dude, I haven't even looked at it, man. And it's crazy because when he said this to me, I kind of thought like, oh yeah, dude, you've just been back in Canada, haven't you? Like you've been plugged into this like matrix, this propaganda system that just like feeds you just news constantly day and night and tells you who to like and tells you who to hate and tells you what to do and tells you what to think. Over here, people really don't care. You know, the world is going on. And I'm not saying that in any disrespectful way to whatever's happening, but all across the world, people are living their lives and they're not being pumped with propaganda day in, day out and being told that they as individuals need to worry about it, because at the end of the day, there's nothing that you as an individual can do to actually prevent or stop these things from happening. But you are told that you should bear responsibility for it. You are told that you should fight and argue with your neighbors about it. You are told that you should fight and argue with your family about it. We saw that in 2020. Just the serious consequences of this propaganda machine that really just controls the minds of entire nations, pretty much. It can turn family members against each other. It can turn friends against each other. You know, I was speaking to my mum about this the other day, and I said, you know, this is not healthy, because think about it. Think about hundreds of years ago, before the printing press or whatever, and before this propaganda machine took hold. There were certain regions of the world that would go through hundreds of years of peace. They wouldn't even know what war is, right? They wouldn't think about it. If there was a war taking place somewhere else on the other side of the world, they would never even have known that it happened. Now, you're expected to not only witness every single atrocity and conflict that takes place everywhere on the planet, but you are told that you should bear responsibility for it, that you should care about it, that you should fight for one side or another, that you should be emotionally invested, in every single thing that takes place in the world. Yeah, when you get out of there, when you get out of those countries, you really do see them for what they are, and you really do see how just mind-blowing the grip that the machine has on the population and the way that they think, and how they're able to control the narrative, and they're able to control every aspect of society. And it's insidious, not just how they, you know, use media to do it, but how they use the population, how they use divide and conquer tactics, how they turn people against each other, families, friends, how they use politics to divide and conquer, how they divide and conquer over every little issue, every little thing every little issue in the West. You're told that you should take a side. It's absolutely crazy. You know, people in the West think they have freedom of choice, and it's the most hypocritical system on planet Earth, because in one moment you're told that you live in an open and free democracy. At the exact same time, if you choose the wrong side, if you don't side with who you're told to side with, if you don't believe what you're told to believe, you are literally shunned from society. Will turn your family against you, will turn your friends against you. And when you argue and when you fight back and when you say, hey, I thought I was allowed to think the way I want to think, I thought I was allowed to have an opinion, you're quickly in one way or another told, no, you're not. You can lose your job. You can lose everything that you have, right? It's absolutely crazy. The question you really need to ask yourself is that a society that you want to live in? Like, seriously, how can a human being live in that sort of society and be happy? It is everything that George Orwell ever dreamed of, and then some. And we're living it. In 2023, we are living it. Well, if you're in the UK or in the US or in a Western country, you're living it. I'm not. I've gotten the hell out of there. And I would suggest perhaps if you find yourself unhappy, if you find yourself feeling stifled, that's the word. It's a stifling feeling. If you feel stifled by the society and the culture that has sprung up around you, because it never used to be like that. This is a recent phenomenon. I'm not going to go into why I feel like it's sprung up so quickly. That's a topic for another video. But if you feel stifled by this machine that has just sprung up around you in the past few decades, then I would seriously consider looking at moving to another country, perhaps, wherever that might be. There are still plenty of countries in the world that have good values. And, you know, a lot of people will watch this and say, yeah, Brett, you're in Thailand, and pick apart Thailand and Thailand for all of its flaws. Maybe so. And maybe Thailand won't always be the place that it is today. But I've set up a life for myself where I can kind of go where I want, right? This is what we have to do. I think if you don't want to be, you know, pulled deeper and deeper into this this system of, you know, do as you're told, do as we say, or else. If you don't want to be trapped and sucked into that, then you need to start thinking about how are you going to build a life for yourself that allows you to be mobile. It's a scary world. It's a sad world that we're living in. And it's so crazy, you know, as a Westerner to think that that is the case. I mean, you grow up being told that this is what happens in third world countries, right? This is what happens in the Soviet Union. And that you as a Westerner are free. And it's just not true. And it's really, really sad. It's really scary. But to stay there and to bury your head in the sand, it's just going to get worse for you. That's all for me, guys. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.